Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm so excited for our all-in-one DirectView LED webinar today because we do have a special guest joining us in a little bit. Before we get started, I just wanted to go over a couple of housekeeping items. First and foremost, we do have a Q&A button in your webinar chat. So please feel free to drop in questions as we have a discussion about DVLED. We will have a dedicated Q&A session at the end. So feel free to drop in your questions there. And then secondly, we are raffling off a 16-inch portable monitor. It's very compact, it's light. I think it weighs about 3 pounds. It fits so easily into your backpack or purse when you're on the go or on the road. So stick around till the end of the webinar. And if you are our lucky winner, we'll make sure to reach out to you via email. And then with that being said, I want to bring on our product expert, Shane, on the line. Hi, Shane.
Hi.
Hi, can you give us an intro to our audience?
Oh, sure. My name is Shane Roma. I am a product manager here at ViewSonic. I've been in the AV industry for about 15 years, and I cover our DirectView LED line here at ViewSonic.
Awesome. So happy to have you on, Shane. I do have to say, we're definitely seeing a rise of DVLED technology, not just this year, but the past few years, and it's really reshaping our display landscape across industries. So I was curious, I want to kick it off with the first question. Can you kind of give us an overview of our DirectView LED solutions at ViewSonic?
Yeah, I would be happy to. And also wanted to just say thank you for everyone for joining. Know that it's Labor Day week, and for many of you, it's a little early, but we appreciate you spending your time here with us, and we hope it's very informative. And before I jump into ViewSonic solutions, I just kind of want to hit on something that you said, Mina, which is DirectView LED has had a lot of changes here in the past 5 or 10 years. It used to be something that was a lot more complicated, maybe a little cost prohibitive, maybe had a lot of tech issues. But over the past couple of years, DirectView LED technology has come a long way. But with that, it still can be a little intimidating, can still be a little complicated. So here at ViewSonic, what our goal is to make it as simple and accessible as possible to be able to integrate in DirectView LED into solutions that typically might have required maybe a projector and screen solution, or maybe just couldn't have a big screen solution at all. Now DirectView can fill that space. We want to make it as easy as humanly possible. There's a lot of DirectView LED manufacturers out there. Definitely saw that at InfoComm this year. If you went around the floor, it seemed like everyone was talking about DirectView LED. But here at ViewSonic, we've been doing DirectView LED for a couple of years, but we've been in display technology for almost 40 years. So we're a trusted name in that we take it very seriously. So we want to make sure that the DirectView solutions that we have are going to be reliable, going to be durable, and going to meet the needs of our customers and maintain our good reputation in the industry. We're also US based. I'm actually out here in our Brea, California headquarters. Our tech support is US based, our field solutions is US based, so we're here to be partners with you when looking at your DirectView LED solutions.
Awesome, thanks for that. What I heard was that ViewSonic is here with you. We are set up to make the partnerships successful, and that also, we have nearly 4 decades of experience in the visual solutions industry. So we're really trying to make our DVLED solutions accessible and overall just provide a very seamless experience for you all. Shane, my second question for you is, it's the name of this webinar. I kind of mentioned it, all in one. We say our DVLED is all in one. What does that actually mean?
Yeah, great question. So all DirectView LEDs here at ViewSonic are going to be all in one. That's in contrast to maybe a more traditional LED where everything is separated and it can be a little more complex. The power can be a little more complex. The video processing is definitely more complex. You have to do things like image stitching and possibly calibration. Here at ViewSonic, all of our products are all in one, which is kind of exactly what it sounds like. Everything is integrated. So for us, what that means is that the power supplies, the video processing, all of that is pre-integrated. And one of the other unique things that we do with the all-in-one is everything's going to be pre-mapped and pre-calibrated, so that when we ship out DirectView LEDs, whether it's something that's an off-the-shelf, which I'll discuss in a little more detail later, or whether it's one of our custom solutions, everything comes pre-mapped, everything becomes pre-calibrated. So it's about as plug-and-play as a DirectView LED can be. So the all-in-one, though, really just makes sure that we're keeping this as simple and accessible as possible without compromising on any features.
Thanks for that, Shane. What I heard was all-in-one means that it's single SKU. It's very easy to spec. Again, making it very seamless and easy for the end user or the customer that's ordering our DVLED solutions. What are some of the different types of technology and solutions that we offer here at ViewSonic?
Yeah, let's go into the actual solutions that we carry. So we have 3 distinct lines. We have our mobile line, we have our pre-configured line, and we have our configurable line. Behind me is actually one of our mobile line, and this is going to be our LDS 138. And this is a 138 height adjustable video wall that ships actually as you see it. You can unfold it. That's one of the big advantages of this. So it can be quite mobile. We actually here in our headquarters, we have a regular passenger elevator. We don't have a freight elevator. We were still able to fold this up and bring this up to the 2nd floor where we are. It's a lot more than just a direct view LED on wheels though. This is a fully integrated solution. So this is something that's going to ship fully assembled, fully integrated. You take it out of the road case, plug it in, and you're good to go. Uses a standard 20 amp plug as well, so it's going to be accessible in a lot of commercial environments. No need for a large amperage 30 amp plug. And then all of our direct view LED solutions are going to have what's called glue on board or some sort of coating over it. What that is real quick is typically, and this is part of the progress of technology for direct view LED in general, but here at ViewSonic, I mentioned we want all our solutions to be durable and reliable. What we were seeing is a standard, you'll hear SMD, which is what you might think of with a traditional video wall where you can feel the individual LED beads on the display. What would happen with that is over time, those would get damaged, they would fall out, especially in heavy use environments. Because if someone were to see this, what's the first thing anyone's going to do? Full-grown adults, children, doesn't matter. They're going to go up and they're going to touch it. And if that happens enough or it takes impacts, those LEDs can get damaged. So what glue on board is glue on board is a coating that is put over it that gives it IP rating, so IP54 rating, as well as IK06 impact rating. So we can actually give this some pretty good hits. What we found when we integrated this into our products is it made these solutions a lot more reliable. So all of the solutions we're going to go over today has either that glue on board coating or for chip on board, there's a similar coating to make sure that they're impact resistant and also liquid resistant, dust resistant, etc. So that when these are in the heavy use environments, they can survive those impacts and you can go in with confidence knowing that it's going to look the same way it did when you put it in that environment. I mentioned the folding. The folding is a big differentiator on this product. This is actually our 3rd generation of the product. We've got to learn a lot throughout the generations, and here at ViewSonic, we're very much lead our products through our customer feedback and what our customer needs are. We got a lot of feedback, so we actually improved the hinge design on this to make it, you can see when it opens, it's seamless and it disappears. So we put a lot of work into that to make sure that every time you open and close it, it stays that seamless. I mentioned it's height adjustable as well, so you can bring it up, put it down depending on the needs of the system. And because it's all in one, everything's included. So below here is going to be the power supply, all the inputs and everything like that. And like I mentioned, it's plug and play. You take it out of the included road case, you unfold it, you plug it in, and it's ready to go. So that's going to be our mobile series. This is really good for situations, even like this room. You can't really see it, but there's a lot of windows around here, so it's not really a good place to mount a direct view LED. This is a good solution for that. Also, if you have rooms that change configurations. So that's another thing in this room, in our headquarters is our training rooms. We do a lot of different events here where we may move things around. So this lets us get a full feature direct view LED video wall and be able to move it around based on the needs of the system without having to do like a permanent install or even install it on a cart since it comes all pre-assembled. So that's our mobile solution. For our pre-configured solutions, those are going to be more what you think about when you think about direct view LED. Those are going to be mounted on the wall. Our pre-configured solutions are in set sizes and set aspect ratios and set resolutions. And that's to make it as easy as possible. So you don't need to worry about a configurator, what's the array or anything like that. It's going to be a single part number and it's going to be as easy as specifying, let's say, a commercial display. So we have 1080p series, we have 4K series, we have 136-inch, 163-inch, and then you can get above into the 200s, whether it's 217 or 231-inch. So I mentioned single part number. It's a single part number that's going to include everything from the cabinets, the mounts, the tiles, 5% spare tiles are also included, all the cabling, everything that you need for a successful direct view LED. And again, want to make it as easy as possible so you know it's already going to be 16:9 and it's going to be at a standard resolution. So when you're putting content to it, you're not going to have to worry about, oh, do I have a player that's capable of doing these custom resolutions or anything like that? It's going to be about as plug and play as you can get. I mentioned it also because it's all in one, everything's going to be pre-mapped. So when you take it out of the box, you'll have the wiring diagrams and everything that's going to show you how to wire it up, but there's no software needed. There's no mapping needed, no stitching needed. It's all being done for you ahead of time. And then all the tiles are already calibrated. All the spares are already calibrated, so there's nothing that you need to do there either. The other benefit of the pre-configured is that they're stocked here in the US. So in our California warehouse, we have all of our sizes are in stock, ready for quick shipment. And then we'll talk about it a little more later, but with the purchase of every ViewSonic DirectView LED also comes like an on-site like guided installation. So a member of our field solutions team will also help walk through that installation with you to make sure that it's going to be as successful as possible. Finally, let's say you have a room where that size, the pre-configured sizes aren't the best fit. Maybe you have a custom space, right? You need it a little wider. Maybe you need a 32x9 or 21x9. Maybe you just want to fill a giant wall. Then we move to our configurable solutions. Now, our configurable solutions are whatever you would like it to be. We can do any shape, any size. We can do custom resolutions. We can do custom aspect ratios. You can really make it your own. Those still have all the advantages of our all-in-one. So those are going to be made to order. Those aren't going to be stocked here, of course, because they all are all custom. But what's done in our factory is that when it's being put together, we're still mapping it. We're still calibrating it. All of those advantages you're still getting that you would get with the pre-configured to make those installs easy. And we also include someone going on site to help guide that install as well. And then even on the front end, we have resources to help design those custom solutions for you. And then the custom solutions do come in different pixel pitches as well. We can cover that a little later on what that means. But if you want to change around the resolutions based on the viewing distance, you can change the pixel pitches within that customizable series. So you can get exactly what you need. But regardless of the series, we just want to keep it as easy as possible. So we're here to help spec it and help make it successful.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Shane. So just to do a quick recap for our audience, we provide pre-configured series, our configurable, and then our mobile as well, which Shane is standing right in front of. As you saw that mobile, it's able to be folded, unfolded. He mentioned that we did bring it up in a standard elevator here in our Brea office, and all of our DVLED solutions come with a very durable and reliable technology. You mentioned glue on board, Shane, and that coating that's on top of it. And so, yeah, we have one right here in front of our lobby in our Brea office. And I love running my fingers over it and sometimes just knocking on it as well, really showing that it's meant for that public space where there's high traffic and people are constantly walking around it and can potentially touch it. So thanks for that, Shane. You know, you kind of touched upon this about field solutions, and I was hoping you can expand upon it because you kind of gave a good outline of all of the different solutions we offer, but you know, it could be kind of daunting for our customers or for our end users or partners if they have a space and they're trying to figure out which type of solution they need. What does ViewSonic provide for that?
Yeah, definitely. It can be a lot. And especially if you've had bad experience with the DirectView in the past, maybe you're just unfamiliar with our products, or you just haven't gone into DirectView, it can be really daunting to know, okay, where do I even start and what resources are available to me? So our big differentiator here, aside from the products being the right fit for the application, is also our partnership. And there's a few different stages to that. So in the design phase, we offer a design consultation service. So what that is that your sales rep will coordinate a call with a member of our field solutions team. Our field solutions team are experts. These are the guys that are out in the field, that are out installing these systems. They're very familiar. They've all been with ViewSonic for a very long time. They'll get on the phone with you, and if you want, your customer as well, and go over the space. What are you looking to do with the space? They'll go into a lot of the gotchas as well. Hey, what is the structure it's installing on, right? Is this something that's going to be easy, or are we going to want to do some reinforcement, maybe, you know, introduce things like Unistrut or anything like that? Like, let's prepare for that so there's no surprises. What's the content looking like? Is it something where we need to generate custom content? Is that being thought of? They'll just go through the holistic system and really help put your mind at ease that you're designing the right solution. And then the output of that is going to be a system design either for our pre-configured or our custom solution, and then your sales rep will be able to quote you what that cost would be for that solution. If you decide to proceed with that purchase, then there's a pre-installation checklist call. And so that's really valuable. You do that a couple days before you're going on site, and that makes sure everything is where it needs to be. Because I tell you, nothing will delay an install faster than not being ready for the install in the first place. And the more you can cover on the front end, the way easier your life is going to be on the back end when it comes to these installs. So the pre-installation checklist makes sure things like, hey, were the power drops put in with the right circuit breaker sizing, in the right locations? Was the structure reinforced properly? Is the room cleared out? You know, things, even little things you don't really think about, which is you're gonna have to bring crates in to unpack them. Do you have accessibility to that? Do you have the right equipment? Do you have the right lifts? You know, all of those little gotchas that can really delay a project if it's not thought of during the project, they'll cover on that pre-installation checklist call to make sure it's successful. And then finally, during the installation phase, they'll go on site to help guide the install. So these are guys that have done these installs hundreds of times at this point, and they really help kind of train up to say, hey, this is kind of the order we should go through. This is how we take things out. This is how we mount these on the wall. This is how you properly tile, right? These are the things to look out for, and then help train either the integrator or the end user on how to use it afterwards as well. So that's a very important service because we want to make sure that each DirectView LED is looking as good as possible. And then I guess the actual lastly would be the post-installation support. Like I mentioned, our tech support is all based out here in the US. So if you do run into any issues, definitely give us a call and we're happy to help support. Luckily, with things like the glue on board, we actually see a lot less issues with these because we're not seeing nearly as many issues when things get damaged or things like that. But if you do need any help, we're always here to assist after the installation.
Great, thank you for that. It sounds like we provide a design consultation. We have something for pre-site, like that checklist you mentioned, Shane, and then the on-site consultation as well as post-installation support. Does that sound right?
Yeah, definitely. And so it's, again, I really want to emphasize how important all of this is because it can really help our customers be successful. We actually had a successful install using this experience. So we're in Brea, California. Right down the street from us is California State University Fullerton. It's the next town over. We were able to work with them on a custom installation. We were able to do everything I mentioned, and I believe we have a video ready to go where we can show how that installation went.
Yeah, let's watch it. Awesome. So that was a video of an installation of our LDC series, which is our configurable series, the one that Shane mentioned earlier, where if you want custom shapes, sizes, custom resolution, that is the series for you. That was installed, I believe, last year at Cal State Fullerton, again, very close to our Brea office here. And I'm so excited to invite our special guest, Willie, on the line.
Good morning.
Hi, Willie. Hey there, can you give us an intro to our audience?
Sure. My name is Willie Peng. I'm the Associate VP for Academic Technologies in the Division of Information Technology. And I've been on campus for 25 plus years. I stopped counting.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time. I know you're sitting actually right in front of our LDC series that we mentioned earlier. Can you show our audience a little bit about that room that you're in and kind of give us an explanation of what it's for and how it's being used right now?
Sure. I'm going to use the current camera to see if if actually will follow me. So this particular room, it is a 35 by 55 feet long. And as you can see, aside from the DV LED wall, there are 4 different projectors screens that is laying around the rooms. So this room is used for not just for instructionals, but it's also used for conference. As you can see right now, it is designed in a U-shape model. So the room, it is called data visualization room. It is really meant for plugging in multiple data in different kind of format, and to have someone to be able to stand in the middle of the room or a smaller set and be able to see all the data as we're adjusting the data sets. So you're not just seeing one set of data, you're seeing multiple sets of data. And of course, you will probably seeing that there's other glass walls alongside of it. If I could, I would just put LED walls on all four sides, but I couldn't do that.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So this is the data visualization room at your campus. And you kind of showed us, thank you for that little tour right there. I'm really curious. So right now you're sitting in front of our LDC series. Can you tell us like what the size is and what you had previous to that installation? Like what was there before?
Sure. This particular size is the custom size. I mean, if I can just stand up a little bit more, you can probably see that it's kind of following me. But it is a really big screen. It's a 200-inch. It's a customized version of the DVLD wall that Shane was just talking about. Unfortunately, I can't use I call it the predefined size, Mina. Is that what they call? That come with it, just because of the wall size, right? I want to be able to have enough of the ground clearance, and then there's a little bit of a top area where because of how the design needs to be. So I opt to go with the 200-inch customized version.
Awesome. And you know, as we mentioned, we're very close to your campus. So we go there all the time and we always see the 200-inch LDC there and it looks beautiful. You kind of mentioned what your setup was before. And so I'm curious, like what led you to want to switch to our product, or what was the pain point that you were facing with your previous setup?
Yeah, so this room was built initially from a different area, and then we moved over to this particular location. But the data visualization center was built back in 2017, 2018. The design was at the time, there is no good LEDs, direct LEDs. So we were up for a large screen, right? So it was end up having a 46-inch screens that kind of stitched together. So if you think about it's a 4x4 16 big monitors, 198-inch, 192, 190 inch together to stitch it together. Although the screen itself, it is a 1080p, but the matrix, the video processor is not capable of doing that. So having that 198 inches, you're still seeing only a 1080. So the pixel pitch is just dots. It's very coarse. So moving over to this is definitely a game changer. Now I can really display a 4K resolutions, and then having display a lot more contents within the screen, and then also be able to switch the inputs from multiple different locations from my 4 different stations into the screen. So I can either create a 4-quadrant where I can show all 4 screens from my stations into this big screen, or I can then use it in multiple different approaches so that I can have multiple inputs to multiple outputs.
Awesome. Thank you for that. So it sounded like you had, you know, several monitors there and it was difficult to manage. It obviously didn't look good, like aesthetically too, right? I think now your setup is a lot better with that video wall. It looks a lot cleaner. It's bezel-less. And then, like you said, those multiple inputs and outputs. So it's really helping you, you know, for your different needs of that data visualization room. So that's really cool. I think it looks great. You know, Shane kind of touched upon this a little bit earlier about that overall experience working with us, because I know, you know, we talked about the consultations that go on pre pre-site, but also on-site and then post-installation support as well. And so I'm just curious, like, how was your overall experience working with us? Everything from speccing to installing, and how has that partnership been with you?
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, ViewSonic has been a partner with Cal State Fullerton for many years. The DVLED wall is just, I call it just one of the latest collaborations that we have. We started with the kiosk when we're actually setting up um, I call it the digital campus, where we have the viewfinders that is displayed on all the over the lobbies on the campus, and then we also saw interactive display. So this is just one of the other iterations and partnerships that we have. I do want to kind of mention that something that I forgot is the ease of use of the DVLED wall, where now I don't have to, a faculty can just come or presenter can just come and then just plug it in into our systems, and with their laptops or without their laptops, it's such a easier to connect with it than they have to fiddle with a different multiple inputs. But yes, so coming back to Mina, your question, the setup, of course, it does take some time to do some prep work, like Shane mentioned, right? All the things to get things done in time is to get the prep work set up. So it took us probably just about 3 weeks from tear down to finish of this wall. We have to pull down our 4x4 displays. Of course, definitely working with ViewSonic, working with our local vendors, integrators. Shout out to GST, working very closely with ViewSonics on the engineers coming up, removing the panels of our video walls, the large screen TVs, and then set up the brackets. Of course, working with our facility. So if you're an institution or higher ed, working your facility is a must because you have to really make sure that the powers is there, the structure wall is able to retain the wall, the DV LEDs, and schedule has to be lined up, right? So getting those set up is important. So for us, pulling together, we did this over end of July, and by mid-August, we're able to finish the setup ready for our fall semester. That was actually back in 2024 last year.
Awesome. I'm glad everything was set up during summer break. And so when the students came back to school, it was like a new room almost. I love that. And thank you for touching upon that, because there's definitely a lot of complex things and nuances to consider, I think, when speccing and installing. And so, we always appreciate your partnership. And it sounds like, Cal State Fullerton has had a long-term partnership with us before my time as well here at ViewSonic. And so I actually want to bring Shane back on, because I believe you're continually working with him now for looking at other opportunities on campus.
Yeah, Willie, good to see you again. So I've had the pleasure of going to that campus a few times for groundbreaking ceremonies or going in for other rooms. And so Willie, I know we have an upcoming project with you as well. So just kind of want to talk about, we've talked about what we've worked with you on the past, but could you touch on maybe some of the future that we'll work with you on for DirectView LED?
Versions that we have in this one, this is a custom version because of the sizing and then the constraints that we have on this particular wall. The one that is coming up, which is the 217-inch, I believe it's the DOP, the professional series. That particular one is a standard made. There's no customization, which I believe it actually reduced the cost more. But one thing that I really like, and I really want to touch about it, is how ease of use of those website configurators, I think, which you put it on there. And for people who like me, who like to fiddle things around technically, I can actually say, okay, so how many tiles do I need? And then how high would it be? And then how low would it kind of be Or I can just say, you know what, throw in something that is a very general, it's already pre-made, so I don't have to go through all those customizations. But you can make them, like Shane mentioned, a 16:9 aspect ratio, or you can even go with the 21:9 aspect ratio if you want to. I think the media processor itself, when it comes, it can be configured with those resolutions.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
absolutely.
the one
Yep.
that. Go ahead.
No, that's perfect. Yeah, I think just to touch upon that space too, that space, if I recall correctly, is one of the most booked spaces, at least in the library over at CSU Fullerton. And so one of the considerations that we're making is something you touched on for the last, which is you have to get in and out pretty quickly. And so that also helped with the benefit of the pre-configured and it being in stock is that, when you're ready to go, we're ready to go because you only have such a limited window to get in, do all the changes, get everything set up, and then the new semester is going to start. So, we have to be really careful with making sure we have everything ready, but that pre-configured series can really help with that.
Yep. The one that's downstairs on the first floor, that is even a bigger room. So 217-inch will fit the viewing distance and then accommodate a little bit more folks and still give enough of those brown height where user can actually from the back can see it.
Awesome. Yeah, and I think so this is going to be one of the first of our LDP performance series. So it's going to be 4K at that 217-inch and going to be chip on board. So I'm looking forward to seeing it when it all goes in there. I'm sure it's going to look amazing. So thank you, Willie, for your continued partnership. I know it extends well before my time here. But really appreciate it. Not just for DirectView LED. You mentioned there's more. We've had a partnership with you for many years with our other product lines as well, whether it's our commercial displays or IFPs. So we're happy that you've gone on the journey with us for DirectView LED as well.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Absolutely. Willie, you did kind of point something out I just want to touch upon really quick. It's the configurator. And for our configurable series, we do have a configurator on our website that you could also play around with like Willie did. But also, as Shane mentioned, we do walk you through that if you do want to go the route of the configurable series with our field solutions team. And again, just reiterating our process here that you will meet with our field solutions team and kind of go over that output together. And I have to do a shameless plug here, but we are going to do another webinar in the next month or so covering that configurator and that configurable series very soon. So be on the lookout for that. Thank you, Willie, for joining us. I do want to leave some time for Q&A because we did get some questions. And so while I have both of you on the line, I think this first question is probably for Shane. It's about the mobile series. What's the longevity lifespan of these walls? And is there an evergreening process, let's say 5 years from now, to replace the parts?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So the actual LEDs are rated for 100,000 hours, which if you calculate that is an insane number of years. So we haven't seen too many issues with those depreciating. I did mention we do include 5% extra spare tiles that are going to be calibrated. So if you did have a tile that failed, all of our solutions are also front serviceable. So you could pop a tile off. Let's say you do have a defective one, put the spare tile on there, and then you can send that. You can send the defective tile in for repair, and we are able to repair those. So that's typically what I'd recommend as that system starts to age and things like that. But the actual LED part is going to last quite a long time. And then this does have a 3-year warranty as well. So if any of the components fail within the 3 years, we'll cover that. But we've been very fortunate with this line, and especially once we introduced the glue on board. We've seen a lot less in the way of failures, especially because we're not introducing, the outside elements to this in the same way as before when it was just SMD without that glue on board coating.
Great, thanks for that, Shane. You kind of covered that follow-up question because somebody was asking about what's the process for replacing a tile. So as Shane said, it is front serviceable, 5% spare tiles for our DVLED solutions. And then I have another question here about mobile DVLED that's 4K, if we have any that are available. And then if custom or if is custom permanent installation only?
All very good questions. So for the custom side, The custom isn't going to be at this level. You can do a custom solution that mounts on like a regular cart that you can wheel around. But there's actually quite a bit of design work that has to go into making this happen. There's a lot of detail that go into the type of cabinets we use, the hinges we use to allow it to be foldable, and a lot of the flexibility that you see. So for that reason, what you see here with 138-inch is going to be what you get on this. Anything custom would be on more like a standard cart, so it's not going to do things like the folding and whatnot. But you can put the custom on a cart, and we have had people do that before if they're not able to do a permanent install, and then you assemble it on the cart where you are. There are going to be size limitations to that just because of how gravity works. You can't get too big or it's going to tip over because of the weight requirements. But it's certainly something that you can do. And I'm sorry, what was the first question again?
Oh, 4K for mobile
4K,
series.
yeah. So this is 1080p right now. I will tell you it looks fantastic. Of course, I'm going to tell you that. But we've also had customers that have told us it looks good, and kind of surprised to hear that it's not 4K. It can take in a 4K input, but it's going to be 1080p because it's going to be at a 1.5 millimeter pixel pitch, which at the 130, this is 138 inches, but at that 130-ish inch, the 1.5 millimeter pixel pitch is going to equate to about a 1080p resolution most of the time. 4K options are definitely something we're looking at. So future generations of this product, definitely looking at 4K in the future. Nothing immediate, but stay tuned as we get closer to InfoComm next year.
Cool, stay tuned. And then this is actually a very common question we get here, Shane, if we offer any flexible or curved installations.
Yeah, we do. So those are all going to be custom. Those are something you'll want to work closely with us on. There are going to be some parameters we need to maintain in terms of the curve, but it is something that we can do. And there's just a lot of considerations for it in terms of the structure and how it's going to mount and things like that. So if you do have that opportunity for like a curved or a cornered installation, reach out to us. We can go over what you're looking to do, and we can let you know if that's something that we can do or not. But it is something we're capable of. Yeah.
Okay, great. And then someone did ask how long that Cal State Fullerton installation took. About?
Sure. So the installation took about just 2 weeks. If you have all the wall prepped just by itself. It took us a little longer because we have to take out our the big screen TVs, right? And I do want to mention that Shane just kind of mentioned about pixel pitch. So the one that's on the back, these are 1.2 millimeter pixel pitch. So that's where we're able to display a 4K in that 200-inch. But the installation, it itself, with all the parts being ready, right? Like I mentioned, and you have to get your inspections done too. So once you have your structure engineers finish the structural wall checkout, the power is already being pulled. We do have to change our power from the big screen TVs to be able to adopt it with the DV LEDs. You want to make sure that if it is flush on the wall, you want to have more of indentations on the power rather than protruding or a flat or flushed. So make sure that those are indented, so then the power can be pulled without being seen in this case. And of course, the ones that I have right now, it has a visible control bar on the bottom, but you can make the control bar to be invisible or move it to someplace else. So those are all different kind of ideas you want to talk about when you start up your installations. Those design really make a big difference.
Got it.
Gotcha.
Okay. Willie, if this education thing doesn't work out and you want to come sell DirectView LEDs, just let us know. We'd be happy to help you. So Willie brought up a lot of fantastic points and did my job for me. So thank you very much for that. I'll mention too, the complexity is going to be directly related to the size of the wall. So our standard, like off the shelf, 136-inch, 1080p, 16:9, that's going to be our highest volume. Those are typically done within a day. The reason though is because that uses a standard 20 amp plug. Those are a lot more common. There's not quite as much complexity to put a 20 amp drop there if there's not one there before. And so it's just going to be a little easier, especially if the site is prepped. As you go up in size, you go up in power requirements and you start getting into needing 30 amp. Once you need 30 amp, now there could be permits required. There could be electricians. Things get a little more complex, and just the size of the wall the weight's going to go up, what you're going to need for like reinforcement's going to go up, the complexity is just going to expand. So it's really going to depend on the situation. And that's why I mentioned the more you do on the front end, the way easier your life is going to be on the back end. And that's why we're here to help with our design consultations and with our pre-installation checklist calls, because nothing's worse than getting on site and realizing, oh, we're not ready. Because trying to scramble and get it done then, it's just not going to happen. And I think, you know, a lot of Willie's conversations are something we see a lot, which is once you get to these bigger walls, they don't happen in isolation, right? These direct views don't exist by themselves. There's a lot of trades that have to get involved. Maybe PEs have to get involved. There's a lot of coordination that can happen. So covering all that on the front end will make it so that when you're actually on site doing the install, it will go way quicker than just trusting that it's all going to work out, because we've seen some bad situations because the power wasn't ready or the wall wasn't ready or you didn't have lifts, right? We didn't rent those out in time and now we can't get any or whatever it is. So yeah, the more coordination, the better.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, what I'm hearing, the takeaway is that the more work you do up front will really help the install go more smoothly and we'll be set up for success. So please reach out to us and we'll work with you very closely. I do have a couple of more questions here. Are there any plans to integrate micro LED technology into ViewSonic's DV LED walls for permanent installs? I've got a few spaces that could really benefit from enhanced color science and deeper contrast. Wondering if custom orders or future upgrades might support that.
The answer is yes. Not available today, but stay tuned, probably around InfoComm timeframe.
A lot to look forward to at InfoComm.
I know. Right now, what we have is we have the SMD with glue on board, which is what you see here. And then our LDP series are the chip on board, the flip chip. And that's what's going to allow to get down to like 0.7 pixel pitch. So you can get 4K even at like 136 inch. So we have that as far as kind of the micro LEDs go. But as far as I think what you're referring to, like with MIPS and those like really high color contrast, definitely technologies we're looking into as those get more developed. You know, we want to make sure that we have the latest and greatest solutions. So all things we're definitely looking at so we can provide those solutions to you when the time is right.
Great. And then two more questions here. I think you kind of touched upon this, but it's about color calibration. Let's say we need a new tile in a series of 2 years tiles. Is there some type of color calibration that's required?
Yeah, so color calibration is a funny topic when it comes to direct view LED. It's much better than it was for, let's say, the old display-based video walls, where, let's say, one of the display fails, you have to take it off, and then you put a new one on, you try to color calibrate it, you've got this big, giant thing, and it's never going to be quite right. Really tough to have spares of that. So the way we cover that is through offering the spares, because the way the color calibration works, there's two things at play here, and I'll try not to bore on for too long about this topic, but the LEDs have to be from the same batch. If the LEDs aren't from the same batch, it's never going to be fully color calibrated. You'll never be able to get it exactly right. Now, if there's a display here and a display there, you'll never notice. But if there's LEDs right next to each other, you'll notice the color differences there. So the way ahead of that is to get the spares on the front end that are already calibrated, or more importantly, from the same LED batch. And so with all of our products, we include those 5% extra spares as well as the repair services. So if things are failing and you have to replace it, get the repairs done as you're doing it. I'll mention a plug that we don't really have that problem, thankfully, where we're going through so many spares. I think the biggest issue with the spares is that sometimes people lose them, but typically we're not replacing so many that we go beyond the 5%, especially with the repairs. If that does happen, we can do a spare, and we'll try to get it as close as possible, but it's never going to be exact because it'll be from a different LED batch. So really the key is to make sure that you keep the spares that are included with it. And then for the configurable series, because those are all made to order, you can have as many spares as you would like to purchase along with it. We still include the 5%, but if you wanted to do more, in the configurator, it will ask you as one of the questions, do you want any additional spares? You could put the quantity 10, 20, 30 tiles, however many you want, and those will be color calibrated. They'll obviously be from the same LED batch, and they'll be color calibrated with the rest of the unit, so when you receive it, you'll receive all of those spares. So I know that was kind of a long answer. Calibration in direct view is can be a tricky thing. The benefit is that you're not doing it yourself. We're taking care of all of that. so that when you get it, everything's calibrated, including the spares.
Gotcha. And then our last question, is this TAA compliant, and what's the country of origin?
So that is something we're very close to being able to say yes. And the country of origin for the TAA compliant models will be Taiwan. So stay tuned for that as well. That will be much quicker than Infocom. So that's another thing to be on the lookout for.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone for your time. And thank you again, Willie, for joining us today in spite of your busy schedule. So thank you again. And we'll love working with you in the future. I do want to wrap up as we are at time. I just want to send a reminder to everyone that, if you stuck around to the end of this webinar, you are entered for a lucky chance to win our 16-inch portable monitor. We will definitely reach out via email if you are a lucky winner. We will also send a recording of this webinar as well in an email to you all, so you could always forward it to your colleagues. And of course, if you have any questions for us, please feel free to reach out to us via email, and we will be hosting another DVLED webinar very soon. Date is TBD yet, but it'll be around the time frame of October, kind of going over that configurable series and that entire process that Willie and Shane talked about today. So thank you. Thanks for joining us, and see you again next time.